This is Heart Rhythm TV, and I'm your host, Kamala Tamirisa. I'm honored today to have a wonderful and an esteemed guest, Nancy Stephenson. Nancy, thank you for joining us today. Tell us more about your journey.
Thank you so much for asking me. My journey began back in Minnesota in 1964 when I graduated from high school and went into school to become a registered nurse. I was then a registered nurse and worked intensive care for 3 years, taught for a year, and then responded to an ad in the newspaper that said, RN, challenging new position, extensive travel required. I didn't know there were nursing jobs that had anything like that. The job was with Medtronic. It changed my life, and 32 years later I retired from Medtronic, having had a most marvelous, awesome experience in this incredible industry.
That's awesome. And so tomorrow, there's an award ceremony, and I want our listeners to hear from you.
In 1985, this association presented their Distinguished Service Award to Earl Bakken, the founder of Medtronic. I was so honored to be working for a company where the society would recognize Earl, who was in industry, not a physician. 19 years later, I got a call from Eric Pristowski telling me that I had been selected to receive the Distinguished Service Award in 2004. I cried. I couldn't believe it. I retired at the end of 2004, and my thoughts were, how can I give back? How can I say thank you? And so I worked with HRS to create a specific award for industry, for people in industry, because it's all about a partnership. And so the award was put in place and funded for 5 years. This is year 5 of the award. And when I put the award in place, working with HRS, there was someone at Medtronic that I had in the back of my mind that I hoped would at some point be selected to receive the award. And that was also a nurse who I knew well, Wendy Savillo. Wendy is the recipient of this year's award, and I was invited to come back and present it to her.
Such a wonderful legacy, you know, and another RN just like you
Yes.
is being recognized tomorrow, and tomorrow it's at 3:30.
Yes.
Wendy will be receiving the award from Nancy. And just to wrap this up, what's your legacy? What do you want to leave with?
What I most want to leave with is something I think HRS knows well, and that is that it is a partnership between industry and the medical side, whether it be physicians, nurses, technicians, whoever. It is always a partnership, because in the end, there is one person who benefits, and that is the patient. And both sides want the best outcome possible for the patient. So when something goes wrong, I remember in the early part of my career with Medtronic, I was in the clinical evaluation department, managing studies of devices being used in people for the first time. And when something went wrong, we had to look at, was it the device, was it the patient, or was it the doctor? Because those were all 3 variables, and all were critical for the right outcome for the patient. So hopefully my legacy is that it is a partnership, and with a continued strong partnership, the ultimate beneficiary is the patient, and they do get the best of both worlds.
Very well said. I can sense the humility in your voice, and yes, patient is the center of everything that we do.
Yes.
And EP is such a unique field where there's that partnership.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to Heart Rhythm TV for hosting this wonderful interview.
And thank you so much for inviting me. It is such an honor.